I am going to talk today about body positioning. And this is kind of a loaded topic. And there's multiple layers to each of this. It's not very clear, cut, and dry. Today I'm going to kind of go over a broad sense of things that go into this, but I'm also going to hone in on one specific topic, because as we go further with these videos, I'm going to kind of break down each topic a little bit more. So our muscles and joints in our body, when you look at the anatomy and physiology of things, they have very specific jobs and very specific positions that they like to go into. Our instruments require them to go into positions that they're not necessarily perfectly happy in. So it's important, but we have to go into these positions. So we have to move in, but we also have to be able to move out of those positions. What happens a lot, and I see a lot with musicians, is that they move into a certain position that is not the best ergonomically for that body part, and they stay in it. So that's something to really kind of look at. You're gonna have to go into those positions, and it's not realistic to not go into those positions, but the key is to not stay in them for any longer than you actually need to. So that's really kind of important first thing to think about, and everybody is different in terms of, my fingers may be longer than your fingers or shorter. So if you're looking at thumb positioning or if you're looking at key positioning, it's very different. Your arm length may be different from somebody else's. People's neck lengths, I have some patients that their necks are really super long. Some of them are a little bit shorter. That makes a difference for, violinists and violists. It also makes a difference for wind players as well. So all that kind of plays into a role. People have differences in their upper body length and their lower body length. And that makes a difference for sometimes guitarists because they're sitting while they're playing, and also pianists. So not everybody is the same. So I can't say this is going to work for you, because your body may be different from somebody else's body. So that's why customization is really, really important, and to stop and think about what your body type is, how your body fits at your instrument, all right? Other things that are really, really important when it comes to body positioning is how we approach our instrument, the energy in which we approach our instrument. Sometimes we approach our instrument kind of stressed out, depending on what's going on in our day. That muscle tension from stress creates tension as we sit there and play. We might be vice gripping our keys, tension in our shoulders. We might be rising up a little bit. How much overall tension do you have in your body when you play? That's a really important thing to think about as well. And then, are you using the right muscles? So I have had a lot of patients that, in an attempt, we all kind of want to work as hard as we can, but sometimes what we do is we work too hard. So we're contracting muscles that don't need to be contracted for certain movements. So I've had patients that are, kind of vice gripping on their keys or on the neck of their guitar, and they're contracting both sides of their hand really, really super tight. So nothing wants to move and nothing wants to be free and relaxed. So that's think about the tension that you're using when you're actually playing. And I'm gonna go over each of these in more detail, but this is kind of global body positioning and things to start to think about. But today, I wanna focus on static postures, because many of us sit down or stand to play, and we have a tendency to just go into one position. And we don't move. So things I want you to think about are you going into one position and not moving? All right. Are you moving too much? Are you kind of all over the place when you're playing? Are your knees locked? All right, because that doesn't create a great base of support. It kind of creates tension in your whole body. So if you just stand there and you lock your knees, you can feel how much tension that creates in your body. The other thing is are you kind of a sway back? Are you hunching your back over when you're playing? Are you really super forward? Posture is a whole nother topic we're going to talk about, and that's a beast in and of itself. But these are just little points I want you to start thinking about, and we will go into them in more detail. But static postures are super important because we do have a tendency to get into a position and we stay in that position when we play. I know I did. So for me, and some of you know this, but for me, I would always play my flute and I would lean this way. So I would put all of my weight into my left hip. Nothing would go into my right. And I would move a little bit in and out, but most of the time that's just kind of how I played. So consequently, because I played that way for years and years and years, and hours and hours and hours, what happened is I got shortening of all the tissues around that hip area, all right? And then I actually got a little leg length discrepancy because of the shortening of those muscles. So I created tissue changes in my body because of the position that I was in. And at the time, I never knew that I should be getting out of those static positions. I never knew that I should be doing exercises to go into the opposite direction of the position that my instrument put me in. So just know that, you know, you want to start being aware of what position are you in and are you moving. I see a lot of people lock their knees when they play, or a lot of people will just put one foot in front of the other when they play. A lot of violinists will do this. And again, it's a matter of you want to move slightly in and out of positions. Shouldn't be anything ballistic. I remember I was at a master class one time with Paula Robinson years and years and years ago, and there was somebody that was performing, and literally she played like this the whole time. And I thought, this is before I was a therapist, obviously, and it was so like, wow, how does she play like that? And now that I'm a therapist, I'm like, oh my God, I wonder if she's still playing. Her neck, like what it was, you know, it was a dancer. She was a beautiful player. She sounded great, but her neck she was just moving, and it took away so much from what she was doing. And I'm sure that she probably has problems later on in life if she didn't kind of nip that in the butt. So think about what position that you're playing in that is a stagnant position for right now, and kind of be aware of that and think, okay, is this really beneficial? And think, is there a way I can get out of that position without kind of having it be a ballistic motion? So you don't want, when you play, to be static. Playing is an emotional thing. It's a movement thing to some degree, all right? You're moving air, you're moving energy to create your music and to create your sound. So don't be in one position, but don't be moving all over the place either, because that's not great. So I want you to, again, think about your body type. Think about how your body fits your instrument. What positions are you putting your body in? Are you staying in stagnant positions that are not so great for your body part? Are you moving in and out of positions that are icky? So a lot of times with guitars, they come up on the neck of their instrument, they have to come into this position, all right? The wrist really doesn't like that position, all right? It's not a great position for the wrist, right, Andy? You know, Mr. Hand Therapist too. Musician and hand therapist. But you have to go into that position because you have to hit certain chords, but then you have to come out of that position, all right? And it's a matter of being as ergonomically as your body can be correctly at your instrument, given your body type. And each one of these interplay upon the other. So it's a whole picture thing. So you can't just say, move this way, because your body is different, and it's all about the intricacies of the whole picture. So you have to look at it as a whole entire picture, right? So start scanning yourself, start thinking about, you know, what positions am I in? What am I doing? How are my positions on my hand and, you know, at my instrument and my keys? And, you know, comment below if you have any questions. If you're catching the replay, please write #replay.